I'm upset. No disrespect, respectfully. But disrespectfully is disrespect. Don't be disrespectful. Those vile, disgusting Spartans. Poor little bro, them. And I'ma tell them why I'm mad. That vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus. The other state, and of course, as always, I'm upset. What's going on, good people? It is I, the Maze Madman. Thank you for coming to yet another episode of the Maze Blue and Gold Show. Right now, it is just me. My co-host is running late as usual. He's on CP time, and he's not the CP, if you know what I mean. If you know, you know. That being said, we got a dope show lined up. We got to talk to Ryan Soul about his Notre Dame Fighting Irish. We got to speak to his inner workings and how he feels today. 4 days removed from that crushing defeat, as Notre Dame snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. The inexperience of their coach shined through, if you ask me. That being said, I got to give credit to the other state. As much as it pains me to do so, as much as it is against everything I believe in, they stayed true to the mission. Their young quarterback, when it mattered the most, drove down the field. Granted, he tried to give it away, but he drove down the field, got his team in the end zone, and they won the game. Bottom line, right? That being said, Ryan also has a piper to pay. He bet frequent, I would call him a madman, but I can't because he's a fan of that vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus. But Mello, number 7, and Ryan made a bet, and Ryan will have to honor that bet because here we honor our word, and Ryan gave his word. He will have to honor that. Before we get started, make sure y'all hit the like and share button. Share this. Let's get some more people in here. My guy Mello is already here. He's already on 10. The Ohio State University and future big and national champs. Yeah, I guess, whenever they drop that college football game, you can pick your team, win all the championships, all the virtual championships you like, Mello. Just knock yourself out with those virtual chips. But as I was saying, we got to talk to Ryan Soul. Then we got to speak about Michigan's first road game, right? This is going to be Michigan's first test on the road. As they travel to Lincoln to take on the Cornhuskers, Matt Rule and company. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the 12-team playoff in a possible flux right now. Don't know exactly what's going on. Here's my guy, actually, in the flesh. Ryan, how you feeling?
Doing pretty well.
Good, man. Good. I'm
getting ready
happy
to beat some Blue Devil butt this week.
There we go. That's the spirit. I'm glad that you are in good spirit.
I'm still not in good spirit.
Considering what you were there live. For those who don't know, Ryan was there live. He witnessed that firsthand. Tell us a little bit about the weekend, Ryan.
So, I mean, it was a fun weekend. Had a great time. I got myself one of the green jerseys that the guys actually wore for the game. Pulled it out. So, it was fun. Went to game day. We wore the Pat McAfee show. We messed around and did the "fuck Ohio" chants. Like the gracious Indiana folk we are.
Of course.
Because nobody likes Ohio.
To be fair, I have family in Ohio.
And evidently Ohio State fans took offense to that because they're very emotional about stuff like that. But other than that, I mean, we made it on TV twice. We got our sign on game day. We all got a picture with Reese Davis, which was pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, it was a fun weekend. For 59 minutes and 55 seconds, the last weekend's game,
Right,
me and every Notre Dame fan in that stadium was getting ready to storm the field.
man. And I thought you guys would have had every right to storm that field, because it's been a long time. But go ahead.
Well, not just that. Anytime we beat anytime at Notre Dame when you beat a top 10 team, we storm the field.
Mm.
The
Okay.
2 times against Clemson, we did it. USC in 2015. That Sam Darnold team, the year that USC won the Rose Bowl. And people forget that year that was the Josh Adams season where we were expected to get blown out at home by USC and Sam Darnold, and we absolutely beat them. I think it was like 49-14.
Yeah.
So, Ohio State fans, how they're still butthurt about an 86-year-old man that's got dementia.
Sweet.
Man, they are Charmin Ultra Soft. We need Dr. Phil in the building.
Oh,
you know what's crazy, Phil? After the game, I told you I sat in a Twitter space. You were there.
Yeah.
And
Ryan wouldn't let
Ohio
me
State
speak,
fans didn't want to talk about. Ohio State fans didn't want to talk about the game. They wanted to talk about how Lou ran his mouth, and I'm like, dude, okay, what about JT Barrett? JT Barrett earlier in the or not JT, Cardell Jones was on a bunch of radio shows this week talking about how Ohio State was the much better team, was going to blow Notre Dame out, man. That week, right?
Right.
Do you think if Marcus Freeman would have won that game, that in his post game was gonna, I wonder where Cardell Jones is at? Like,
no, not at all.
Nobody takes Cardell Jones says seriously. Come on, man.
And that being said, Lou Holtz, right? Has a certain amount of gravitas. He is a national championship winning coach, right?
Didn't Cardell Jones win didn't he? He won a natty, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But he's not a coach. It's not like he went on to have like great success anywhere else. Not to say that Lou Holtz did either, but
he was trash in the NFL.
You said that, not me. Let's get to it. What happened? What happened, Ryan? What you guys? Let me explain what I saw from my seat in the comfort of my home that night. You guys take the lead, which in the second half, I'll give you credit. You fought back, made plays. The running game was working, and you guys got back in the game and took the lead. That you even got the ball back with a chance to, even score again. Of course, I didn't think you guys would be aggressive. Nobody in America thought you'd be ultra aggressive on that drive, and you weren't. But on second,
we actually were. The first play of the drive, we actually threw for a first down.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. There was a second down play, however, where you guys tried a screen pass. All right, that was nearly intercepted.
Mm-hmm.
Which I just thought I didn't like the call, Brian, because I felt like if you run the ball 3 times, you force the other state to use that timeout, if nothing else, or because they're going to lose a lot of time if they don't. And the way your run game had been working in the second half, I thought that would have been just the better way to go, right? You didn't do that. You give the ball back to the other state. They drive down the field. Now, there was a throw that the kid made, that McCord made, that should have been intercepted, right?
Yeah.
And you guys, we have a different conversation today. However, that was not picked off. Then, as you get to they have a third and, what was it? It was a third and long. And you rush 3, drop into this super soft zone. It was a prevent defense, I get it. And you give up the first down at the goal line to Igbuka, who was pretty on. He was giving you guys some problems in the second half, or in the game period. But you give up the first and the goal line, basically, to Ibuka. The next play call, whatever, we get down. You guys get the stop on third down. It's fourth down, Ryan. You just need one more stop. By the way, the stop you got on third down, you got that with 10 players.
Yep. So, hey, and you know, if you watch that play,
Yeah,
I don't think Ohio State realized it.
I don't think they did either.
I don't think they, and you know what's crazy is I told Phil this after yesterday.
3rd and 19, yeah.
If Notre Dame has that 11th player on the defensive line, I don't think Ohio State runs the ball there. I think they throw the ball again because of how bad they were on short yardage runs. Now, Phil, are you in the same boat? Like, you think that if Notre Dame would have had that 11th player, that changes the mentality, and Ohio State throws the ball again because they were 0 for 4 on.
You know what? Knowing Ryan Day, maybe that does change the mentality, right? However, I think the smart thing would have been to run on both of those downs. I would have run on both of those downs.
Well, you couldn't because you couldn't. Remember, they had no timeouts.
That's fair. You're right.
They
You're
couldn't
right.
run.
That's fair. That's fair. On the third down, you could not. But yeah, on the last one, I think I would have run it, especially with Trainum, who's a bigger guy. He wasn't getting many yards per carry, but he is.
I mean, he barely got it. He barely got the touchdown,
right.
even with nobody there.
You're right.
I mean, but I'm kind of in the same boat. But after the game, I didn't like the screen pass call. When I rewatched the game, because I do this now, I do it and it's painful because I do it for Notre Dame, and I do it for every Broncos game as well. So that was painful.
You had a rough weekend.
So I rewatched both games. I rewatched that play, and if I after the game, I thought it was a terrible call. After rewatching it, the screen pass.
Yes, okay.
Yes. Now, do I agree with the play call still? No. But if you actually play it back and you watch the broadcast, Notre Dame had that screen pass set up beautifully. And the only person on the Ohio State defense that read it was JT.
Was JTT. That being said, he is very gifted at sniffing out screenplays. He did that against Penn State a year ago, where he had the greatest game that anybody's ever seen, according to the other state fans. So I will give him that credit. He is good in that area. Really fast, really quick before I let you finish, Ryan, because I'm gonna let you finish. We got Garrison and Dallas fan in here who were both guests on the show last week, speaking in the pregame. Shout out to those guys. Make sure you like and share the live. Go ahead, Ryan.
But anyway, if you go back and you watch that play, Notre Dame had that screen pass set up beautifully. Yeah. No one else on that Ohio State defense read it. No one on that Ohio State defense was ready for it.
Right.
And if you go back and look, Jadarian Price is the running back on that play. Jadarian Price, if he's wide open, first of all, if he gets that ball, if Sam Hartman just throws it over the top of JT, there's nothing but 2 Notre Dame offensive linemen, a wide receiver, and 1 Ohio State defensive back. If that happened, if that play goes as it's supposed to, that's definitely a big gain. Probably most likely a first down. And very easily could have been a touchdown. And that game's called completely different. And instead of people bashing that call, people would be like, man, Marcus Freeman had the balls to be aggressive there. You just broke the game open. Like,
sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like the play call because I think you be conservative there.
Okay, all right.
But the execution was perfect. And if they just complete the pass, the game is basically over.
Right. First of all, your quarterback put the ball in harm's way. I get it that it was a screen pass. Things are happening fast because the offensive linemen aren't there to block the incoming rushers because they're getting out to block for the screen. And I understand he has to make a decision, but he's got to throw that one at the feet of the intended receiver, not even put it in harm's way the way he did with JTT, because it's not like he didn't see him. I mean, he's a massive man.
Yeah.
Secondly, like I actually agree with Dallas fan here. No one needed to read it but JTT is the point. I get what you're saying. Nobody saw it except for this guy, but that is the point, that he
But you
saw it.
understand what I'm saying, though, Phil, is if JTT doesn't make that play, which I'm not so like people in the comment. Well, I'm Ryan saying that if that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you actually pay attention to the play, that's just a great play by JT. Because if JT doesn't make that play, the game's most likely over for Ohio State. Like, because that's going to be a big game. That's going to get Notre Dame either in Ohio State territory or that's going to the house. Because I don't know about you, Phil. I'm sure with Michigan they feel this way. You got two Notre Dame or Michigan offensive linemen and a wide receiver against one Ohio State DB.
Right.
I'm taking my chance. I like my chances there to get to the house.
Absolutely. Look, man, I get what you're saying, but that's not, I would even agree with you if that was the only coaching faux pas on that, like in that last, 2 minutes or whatever it was that that happened. The biggest snafu is the fact that 2 straight plays he allowed your defense to go out there with 10 players. Now you explain to me the logic in that. Like after the game, he explained that he wasn't trying to get a penalty in that situation. But, what are they moving the ball at that point inches closer to the goal line, which, this is a game of inches. Everybody has said that. It's a big, cliche.
And maybe they thought that I don't know. Maybe they thought that because they got away with it the play before that they'd be able to get away with it on the final play. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like it's a terrible look and it's a terrible, coaching job, but I don't think we can all sit up here and say that, oh, because of that, Marcus Freeman's automatically a terrible head coach and he's trash and all the out-of-pocket stuff that you hear Ohio State fans and other fans that their teams did not play in this game. We've seen every coach make a mistake. Every single coach has made a mistake.
Sure.
I think there needs to be some address. I don't think it is. Honestly, I don't think it's Marcus Freeman's fault. I think part of it is, but I think the majority goes on
the part where he's the head coach.
Yes.
Right.
But I think majority of the blame should go towards Al Golden because he's the one, him and Al Washington and Al Golden, because Al Washington is the one that runs our defensive line. And Al Golden's the one that makes the substitutions. So part of that is on them. And if you're going to blame anyone the most, I think you got to blame Al Golden because he's the guy he's our DC. He's supposed to know what's going on the field at all times, when anything defense. And you come out of a timeout and you don't have an 11th guy.
Right.
I mean, and what's crazy about it is that it's just the fact that they ran to the hole that there was not a guy in.
Yeah. I get it.
But
I get it. I think they know. I think they obviously understood it at that point, though. Even if they didn't understand it the play before, somebody was like, oh, we can do something here. So I'll give them credit for that. All right. So moving forward, Ryan, you guys obviously lose this game at home. I think you go into the game 8th or 9th. Where were you ranked going into that game?
9th.
The AP spots. Has you at 11 now. On my Maze Madman rankings, I ranked you guys at 12. You thought that was
better
too
than
low.
Bama. We're better than Bama. It would be
which may be true. However, this is a fluid list.
Yeah.
And week to week, these things.
I mean, how I rank my list is
how
because we do our week 0. How I rank mine is not just like based on your record, teams you've beaten, best wins, and then after that it's losses. And I look at when I rank teams, like if you're undefeated, I picture, okay, if I put both of these teams on a neutral site field, who do I think is going to win?
Right.
That's how I do it. And I think with how inconsistent Alabama's looked, I take Notre Dame on a neutral field. Against LSU, I take Notre Dame as well because LSU's been inconsistent too. I mean, if you look at Notre Dame, besides this Ohio State game, which again was a top 10 matchup,
malpractice.
like who do you? I mean, you could say Notre Dame's been and Ohio State have been, well, not even Ohio State. Notre Dame's been one of the most consistent teams in college football through 5 games. Like
Right.
they blew out teams they were supposed to. They had a classic against another top 10 team.
This is a good one. This is good. This is good right here.
It doesn't matter, Goj. We'll be back in the top 10 after this win against Duke.
Right, which could place you right back in the top 10. Let me say this. I ranked Bama ahead of you guys this week because both of you played ranked opponents in week 4. One team beat their ranked opponent. One team lost at home to their ranked opponent. So I had to give Bama credit for that. So that's one of the reasons I ranked them ahead of Notre Dame this week. But it is a fluid list, at least mine. Next week, you guys can be impressive and they can look a little less impressive. Who knows? So we move forward though. What is the path for Notre Dame to reach the college football playoff, keeping in mind that they don't have a conference championship?
So obviously you have to go 11-1. I've seen people say that specifically on my post about this game that Notre Dame's done. They're not made. Guess what, people? Notre Dame's made the playoff already at 11-1. So to sit there and be like, 11-1 Notre Dame team's never going to get in. It's already happened. So let's not sit up here and act like it's impossible. I mean, if you're looking at anybody who's ranked right now within the top 15, Notre Dame has the best loss of any team. Like, you lose at home with 1 second left on the clock, the final play of the game. Like, let's not, you know what I mean? Like, that game could have went either way. But no, I mean, I think Notre Dame's got to go 11-1. They obviously have to look impressive in those wins. I think if Notre Dame goes on the road immediately after this emotional loss and drags Duke, which I expect them to do, and I think they are good enough to do on the road, I think that gives them a lot more, people give them a lot more respect because of the way they're coming, right. the loss they're coming off of. But look at Notre Dame's schedule. They got Duke on the road, 7:30. That's a ranked game. You got
right
at Louisville.
You can't sleep on Duke though, right?
Yeah, no, you can't sleep. At Louisville. Louisville's undefeated right now and could very easily be ranked next week. Then you got USC at home. That's a big one. You beat USC at home, I think the CFP chances are legit at that point.
Do you think USC comes into that game unscathed?
Because they don't play any. Notre Dame's the first tough game of their final 6 games. So,
okay.
And then you got Pitt at home, at Clemson. Or no, you get a bye week after Pitt, at Clemson, Wake Forest, and then at Stanford. So the big 2 obviously are USC, Clemson, and then you got Duke, Louisville. I just think that's a really strong schedule. Especially now, I'm gonna want to puke saying this, but
Mark, we're gonna get to Michigan right after this.
I'm gonna puke after this, and it's gonna make me sick because I will never root for USC. But if I'm rooting for USC to win a Pac-12 title any year, it's this year. So that even if we'll say a 12-1 USC team, right, with how stacked that Pac-12 is, has one loss, and that one loss is to Notre Dame. And this one, Phil, this will feel disgusting too. Ohio State winning the Big Ten. If Ohio State wins the Big Ten, okay, so that means Notre Dame would have one loss on the last play of the game against the Big Ten champs. And a game that could have went either way. And you have a win over the Pac-12 champs. And we know how good the Pac-12 is. So in that situation, how are you going to tell me that USC is going to get it over Notre Dame when Notre Dame beat them head to head?
Well, I mean, if USC loses to Notre Dame, then yeah, I get what you're saying. That said, what if, and follow me here really quickly, and I know we got some other state fans in here. What if the other state drops to Michigan, Penn State, and Wisconsin?
They're not losing to Wisconsin. Wisconsin's trash.
I mean, I don't think they'll lose to Wisconsin either. I gotta throw it out there because I believe Dallas fan had them losing to a team like Wisconsin. He also said they lose 3 games. One of
I'll
those
say
3,
this.
I'm sure, was supposed to be Notre Dame, but
Ohio State impressed me in this game.
of course,
I wasn't sold on their defense. I'm telling you right now, Phil, Michigan is going to have a hard time against that Ohio State defense.
You have to stop it.
No, dude, I'm being serious. Dude, you got a team. Okay, Michigan's averaging what, 30 points a game, 30-some points a game against mediocre to bad teams. I mean, Notre Dame was coming into that game averaging 46 points a game, and Ohio State held us to 14 with 2 of the best offensive linemen in all of college football, who are both going to be first-round picks, right? This Michigan-Ohio State game is going to be a slugfest. This Ohio State team,
I like those. I like Melo. You guys have to let it go, bro. There's no way you are walking into the big house this season and walking out of the big house this season with a W. I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen.
No, and Phil, this isn't personal. Yes, he was saying I knew it. I was gonna say this, but seriously, I earned a lot of respect for Ohio State on the defensive side of the ball. Now, offense, that's still a question mark, because if Notre Dame can lock up Marvin Harrison and Ibuka and keep them from Kyle McCord from getting a touchdown, what do you think Will Johnson and Michigan's DBs are going to do? I mean, but on the defensive side of the ball, I don't think Michigan's going to be able to run down Ohio State's throat like we've seen the last couple of years. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Let me really quick. I was hoping we didn't have to go here so early. We didn't have to do this so early because we don't play them until November 25th. That being said, let me run something down to you. The way that you guys were running the ball on them in the second half, right?
Yep.
You did that. And part of the reason you were able to do that is because of the work you had put in the first 2 quarters. You were
passing. We were exposing their defense. Yeah, they're
they were stymieing your run in the first half, but you were still.
They sold out. They sold out for the run in the first half.
Okay, which is kind of their kryptonite.
MO. Yeah.
At least Donovan Edwards showed you that last season. That being said, Michigan in the second half of the back-to-back blowout wins of the other state has dominated them on the ground in the second half. And it's because do all the selling out you want to do in the first half when that offensive line continues to lean on that defensive line.
Phil, by Gosh. Yes, they did. I was at the game. You guys played for 3 quarters of that Notre Dame game. You guys sat there and with stack the box with your safety 10 to 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. Show me one play where Ohio State had 2 safeties back that were further than 15 yards. Please.
For Ohio State?
Ohio State, yeah. How is that not selling out for the run?
Well, and this is part of the problem. Once Michigan's offensive line is leaning on those guys for 3-4 quarters, it's gonna be happen.
Yeah, but Michigan's
you guys did it
line
in the second half.
But Michigan's offensive line doesn't have Joe Alt and Blake Fisher. Michigan's offensive line is great, but
it's not about those singular superstar offensive linemen. By the way, Joe Alt, by the way, is really the only superstar offensive lineman. Although Blake Fisher will probably go first round. It's not about being singularly dominant, right? It's about collectively leaning on them, right? those guys being dominant protect or prevent like JTT from going off and having 5 sacks against you, right? So that's not going to happen. But once we like are pushing forward for 3.5, 4 quarters, that that levee is going to break.
Man.
That's the plan. That's the game plan. You guys tried to do it. You guys did it to a certain degree. Just didn't
You
stick
saw in
with
that
it,
last
especially in that
drive.
last drive. Exactly.
You saw in that last drive, Audric Estime back to after we threw for the first down.
Yeah.
11-yard gain, 10-yard gain. And also, one last thing about that game. I like, why the hell Marcus Freeman?
Make sure you like and share the live.
We were saying this during the game when we were at the game. Why the hell? Okay, you got your top 5 back in college football, and Audric Estime.
Yeah.
Leads the country in rushing. Finally starts to get it going in that final drive against Ohio State in the second half. Breaks a 11-yard gain, 10-yard gain. And us at the game, me and Lucas, we're starting, man, this Ohio State defense, you see them hand on the hips. They look dejected. They realize that they're starting to get pushed around a little bit. Why did you take out Audric after the back-to-back 10-plus yard runs? Why take him out? Like,
yeah, I agree with you. I mean, he's the biggest guy you got, and especially in this time. But again, Ryan, that goes back to the coaching. And disclaimer. I wish I had like a disclaimer thing I could put up here. I like Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman is from my hometown of Dayton, Ohio. He went to a high school that I know very well. The only thing I don't like is that he went to the other state, and maybe that's the reason he couldn't count to 11, but that's neither here nor there. Marcus Freeman is going to be a good coach in my estimation. However, Marcus Freeman lost Notre Dame this game, as well as the other state taking advantage and winning the game, because I hate to say that a game like this, you have to take advantage of the moments, and the other state took advantage of their moment and they won the game. As much as Marcus Freeman's inexperience at coaching shone through at the end, they still won the game. We got to move on though, because we can talk about this all night.
One last thing I do want to say, we got to stop that narrative though, that people are still pushing that Notre Dame is overrated every year and Notre Dame is mid and all this stuff that people say. Like, come on, man. Like, this is we're acting like this is the same Notre Dame team that would have got blown out under BK in this game. Like, come on, let's stop the cap, stop the narrative. The narrative is not true anymore. Like, for real.
Look, I think Notre Dame is a legit football team. I picked them to win that game. It's 1936. It's been a long time. It's not like they play every year though, so you got to give them that. I picked them to win that game. I thought being at home would help them. Obviously, having a better quarterback than Drew Pine and Tyler Buckner would help. They held your quarterback to under 200 yards passing.
Well, they were bringing the heat on Sam. Like, they were
right.
I mean, Sam was getting killed in the pocket. But hey, man, I think Sam had a kind of a Heisman moment though.
Man, I know you can't have it both ways, Dallas fan, bro. It doesn't work that way. He's the head coach. At the end of the day, the buck stops with him. No matter what shortcomings his underlings have, he still has to make decisions.
But you know what's crazy about this game, Phil, is like after the game, Notre Dame gained 5 commitments right after the game from guys that were at the game. Deuce Knight was a big one. Deuce Knight's like, I love it because I was kind of confused. I'm like,
well, he was committed before the game.
Yeah. But Deuce Knight was there. He's like recruit CJ May, who's a big guy that Ohio State and Michigan were going after. He's elite edge out of Alabama.
You didn't offer him.
You did. CJ May? I swore you guys offered him.
He doesn't have a Michigan offer.
It
was something about him we didn't like.
Maybe. But he wasn't going to commit to Notre Dame, and Deuce Knight's like, hey, man, come to Notre Dame. It's like after the game, all
He's
right, I'm
got a
gonna go
jumpy
Notre.
left eye, and Jim Harbaugh has something against that. So
Yeah, he didn't. You know, Jim Harbaugh eats his cheeseburgers with a fork, evidently, from a sign I saw at game day.
All right. Moving on. Speaking of Jim Harbaugh, Michigan travels to Lincoln, Nebraska this week to take on the Fighting Matt Rules.
Big dub.
Michigan is a 17-point favorite. Ryan, is there anything that you see that Michigan should be worried about in this game?
No. And if you guys don't win by more than a score of 30-6, I'll lose my effing mind.
Well, that's more than 17. We would have covered the spread.
Come on, man. Like, what is with Michigan and 30 points? You guys,
that's our thing. That's what we like. You know what I mean? We like 30, and we like holding the other team under 10. It's just what we do.
You guys don't like dropping. You guys don't like dropping 80 points on Oregon.
Joel Klatt referred to Michigan as a constrictor. You know what I mean? It's not about the flashiness and stuff like that. It's about tearing your heart out piece by piece. You know what I mean?
That's you know what? Coach says Nebraska has a big quarterback who ain't afraid to keep on that up. Yeah, and you know what else? He's not very smart. Did you watch that Colorado game, Coach?
No, I don't think he's talking about Sims, by the way. They got another guy now.
Did they bench Jeff Sims finally?
I think he did get benched. And this guy's like 6'5". This other guy, like 6'5", he can run the football too. I'm not worried about it though. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Phil, I swear to God, if you lose to Nebraska, you will never hear the end of it.
We're not losing to Nebraska. If we lose to Nebraska, I'm shutting down the channel. I will hand it over to somebody else. More words.
No, you know what? Just say it right now, Phil. If Michigan loses to anyone not named Penn State, shutting down the channel. Shutting down the channel.
Whole channel shut down. Penn State is kind of impressing me. I'll give them that. But Michigan, in terms of this game against Nebraska, if Michigan's going to win this game, I'm going to give it 38-6. 38-6 sounds like a
30
decent score. We don't need any more than that. We're not trying to, we kind of take our foot off the gas in fourth quarters. We're not.
I'm going to go with the score of 27-17. I'll go there.
17. You're so disrespectful. You think Nebraska's going to score 17 points?
It's at Nebraska, and also let's not act like Nebraska doesn't have a history of making games that had no business being close, and then losing on a heartbreaking
Michigan's
way.
winning by 20 points every time. We don't. It doesn't matter how much we win by. We're winning.
But you're scoring 30 points. So
yeah. I don't see what the problem is. What's the problem with 30? Last year we scored 40, 42 a game or something like that, right?
Really?
Yeah. So if we want to, we can put it on people.
You're more gentleman-like. You're not Oregon putting 80 on Portland State.
Exactly. Yeah. We can. By the way, Michigan has the best defense in the country.
That's false. That's false.
That's a fact.
That is false.
That's a fact. We're just getting our guys back. Will Johnson just came back last week. Rob Moore just came back last week. Mason Graham is out.
What about competition?
I'm not even talking about the competition. I'm talking about the defense. When that defense is healthy, we are better.
Notre Dame, Ohio State has better defenses.
Notre Dame's defense is not better than Michigan.
Benjamin Morrison's better.
Certainly is not better.
People are already naming Ben Morrison the best corner in college football.
Michigan's played tomato cans. 5 more Notre Dame candidates are close to committing to Notre Dame. Keep building the future.
Yeah, Taylor time. Let's go.
Yeah, until Dion decides he wants some of your players again.
He only took Dylan Edwards. He wasn't going to play.
Because that's all he wanted. That's all he wanted. It doesn't get that. We don't even have all our starters. Thank you. Yeah, we don't have all our starters back. It's going to be crazy.
You need your starters against Bowling Green?
No.
Exactly.
Why do you keep referring to that Bowling Green game like we were in trouble or something?
Because you guys were up.
We were never in trouble.
14-7 at half.
Well, our quarterback kept throwing to the other team, but we were never threatened.
JJ McCarthy threw picks against Bowling Green. That's wild.
Yeah, he had a wild night the night before. You ain't hear about it?
So he was feeling generous.
Yeah, I mean, he was taking down Notre Dame chicks apparently the night before, and didn't get much
It
sleep.
was close, 31.
Anyway, right. That's a ridiculous statement, Ryan.
No, I never said it was close. I said it was close at half.
I guess, man. The comment section: Michigan has played Polk High 4 weeks in a row.
No, they played Bishop Sycamore 4 weeks in a row.
First of all, that's goes. You just played somebody. Let's not act like you guys have been out here beating the who's who of college football, right?
Yeah.
Western Kentucky, Indiana.
I mean, Western Kentucky does have a good offense, but
I don't want to hear that. Western Kentucky is not going to be a real team ever.
Mike Ford said, y'all play Rutgers too. I'll remember that. If Ohio State doesn't beat Rutgers by more than Michigan.
Yeah, come on, man. Shout out to Pay now.
Football math. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. You can't use the transitive properties thing either. You know what I mean? Like, just look impressive doing it.
Imagine having a quarterback throw an interception. My quarterback hasn't thrown one yet.
He tried.
14 touchdowns, no interceptions.
ITT Tech.
ITT Tech.
Dude, got jokes today. It's all good. All right, let's move on, Ryan. Let's get into our next segment, ranked matchups this week and Michigan pick'em, because unfortunately Michigan doesn't play anybody that's ranked this week. Because Nebraska, it's their fault, not ours. Number 10, Utah is at Oregon State. Ryan, Oregon State is a 3.5-point favorite. Who you got?
So I just started today. Anybody that's ranked ahead of Notre Dame for the rest of the season, I'm going to pick against you in the pick'ems.
That's ridiculous.
Just so Notre Dame can get moved up. So sorry, Utah, but I think give me the Beavs at home.
First of all, that's ridiculous. All right. I'm going to take Oregon State at home too, but not because they're ranked, not because Utah is ranked higher than Notre Dame. Number 24, Kansas is at number 3, Texas. Texas, 16.5-point favorite. Ryan, what say you?
Give me the Jayhawks. Give me the
really?
Jayhawks.
Outright?
Jalen Daniels is a better quarterback than Quinn Ewers. He is the best quarterback in the Big 12.
Yo,
dude,
stop.
No, seriously, no.
Stop it.
Jalen Daniels was better last year. He's better than him this year.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
What do you mean? You realize that Jalen Daniels has better numbers than Ewers over 2 seasons, and doesn't have the same receivers that Quinn Ewers has. I'm sorry, that's more impressive.
Quinn Ewers. Let me do something really quickly. This is what I'm saying. We got it. The takes sometimes are so hot. I'm talking about,
dude. When Kansas beats Texas, you're gonna call me crazy, but when that happens,
listen. If it happens, right? I'm not gonna call you crazy. I'm just saying this take is crazy. If you would have said Kansas is gonna beat Texas because I like Jalen Daniels and he's gonna have a big game, that's one thing, right?
Yeah.
But to say that Jalen Daniels is better than Quinn Ewers is entirely different thing.
Dude, Jalen Daniels out here looking like a baby Lamar Jackson.
Somebody help us.
Do I need to pull up the stats? Because
no, it's not about
Daniels.
Stats,
It is more about stats. Jalen Daniels had way more touchdowns than Quinn Ewers last year, and he only played 6 games. That's crazy.
Yeah. So ridiculous. By the way, coming into last week, Shedeur Sanders had more touchdowns than Sam Hartman.
Yeah. Okay.
Is he better?
No. Okay, but this is
I'm
different.
just using your logic.
Quinn Ewers has who does he have to throw the ball to at Texas?
Quinn Ewers has decent receivers.
Yeah,
He has good receivers. Great receivers.
Who does Jalen Daniels have to throw the ball to? A bunch of farm boys from Kansas.
Why is Jalen Daniels at Kansas? It's his fault he went to Kansas. He chose to go to Kansas. He could be somewhere else.
When his other choice was Cal, I mean,
where are you going?
I'm going to Kansas.
So you going to Kansas over Cal?
Yeah.
I am not. I'm gonna be honest with you. That said, that's a crazy take. Quinn Ewers was like the highest rated quarterback of all time coming out of high school. I get it
and he's been overrated ever since he came out.
That is not the truth. You cannot say he just beat Alabama.
He also what about last year where he
was beating Alabama and
I'm talking about
knocked him out the game.
So we're gonna talk about that. He threw 2 interceptions against Oklahoma State last year, who went 6-6.
JJ McCarthy threw 3 interceptions against Bowling Green. That's not who he is. You get that, right?
I mean, Jalen Daniels doesn't throw interceptions. That's what I'm saying.
Sam Hartman, before he got to Notre Dame, had seasons where he threw 12 or 13 interceptions and then 11 interceptions. He had double-digit interceptions in multiple years, and you wouldn't say the same thing about him, right?
Who? JJ McCarthy?
Sam Hartman.
No, Sam Hartman doesn't throw interceptions.
Oh my God! Somebody point Garrison. I hope Garrison's still here. He threw 13 interceptions one year. Another year he threw 11 interceptions.
How many does he have this year?
He has none this year.
Okay.
You just played a real team,
and he still didn't throw an interception. He tried, but he didn't.
All right, that's cool. We'll move on from this. So you're picking Kansas outright over Texas.
Chalk Jayhawk, baby.
I'm taking Texas, and every sane person here, I'm sure, is also taking Texas. Number 13, LSU at Ole Miss. Ole Miss.
Give me Ole Miss.
Loss.
Ole Miss.
Ryan. Okay. Ryan's taking Ole Miss. I'm gonna take LSU. Give me LSU.
Boo.
Of course. Notre Dame is at number 17, Duke. Duke, of course, took down Clemson earlier in the season. Notre Dame coming off their first loss of the season at home to the other state. Who wins?
Wait, how is Ole Miss fraudulent? You realize LSU struggled with Arkansas, right? At home. Okay. Give me
struggled last year with Arkansas.
Notre Dame by 50.
Are you serious?
No, Notre Dame by 21 though.
All right. I'm going to take Notre Dame to win this game by maybe a touchdown.
I don't know why Ohio State fans want us to lose to Duke. You realize that
Duke wins at home.
You would want Notre Dame to win because that makes that win look a lot better for you guys.
Well, they got things on the schedule that can help them anyway.
It's that Ohio State logic.
No, seriously. Let's say Notre Dame loses 3 games for the rest of the season. Ohio State still has to play Penn State. They still have to play Michigan.
Yeah, but why would you want – I mean, if say Ohio State loses one of those games and Notre Dame goes 11-1, right? Wouldn't you want that feather in your cap to be like, if I'm fighting for a playoff spot, hey, I got to win over – 11-1 Notre Dame. I don't get that, man. Ohio State fans are wild.
Notre Dame scoring 40 points on Duke. That may be
I was watching a breakdown of this game, and I just kind of so Duke, which is wild. People said Duke had better receivers than Notre Dame, which is let's stop that right now. Secondly, Benjamin Morrison
receivers were held very quiet.
Our safeties are not our safeties. Our corners are going to hold Duke in check. The only person that gives Duke a chance in this game is Riley Leonard. Well, guess what's going to happen to Riley Leonard? You're going to have a spy. on him the entire game because that's the only way Duke beats us. And we're not Clemson. We're not going to be like Clemson and average damn near 7 yards a carry and then fumble 3 times on the goal line. We're not Clemson. We're going to score.
That's fair.
So, yeah. Give me Notre Dame by 21.
All right. Notre Dame by 21. Finally, Michigan, number 2, Michigan, travels to Lincoln to take on Nebraska. Michigan's a 17-point favorite. How does this one play out?
Michigan by 50.
Yeah. Actual 50, though. Actual 50.
No, it can't be. Well, unless you can give negative points per score. That way it can be like 30 to negative 20. Because that way you can keep your 30 going. Just be like, hey, can we put a negative by that 20 so it's actually negative 20 instead of 30 to 20?
Maybe. Really quick, man, before we bid everyone adieu. I want to touch a little bit on. By the way, if you haven't, go to the channel, check out Dr. Phil. With Ryan Day. I had Ryan Day in as a patient, diagnosed his affliction. It was a great time. Check that out. But anyway, because we got some other state fans in here, I want to ask you guys this question. Why does Ryan Day have Michigan on his mind at all times? Even in his response to Lou Holtz, as he put it, because he said, he called out Lou Holtz by name, but he still referred to the Wolverines and Jimmy Boy without even saying our names. Talking about his one bad half of football, which I pointed out was actually at least 2 bad halves of football. But can someone explain that to me?
Wait, well, hold on real quick. We got breaking news, Phil.
Yeah.
College football playoff is discussing relegation for the sport going forward.
Relegation? Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's interesting. For those who don't know what relegation is, European soccer uses relegation. Basically, you're a trash team. You go to a lesser league.
People are going to try to do that to Notre Dame. There's going to be like send Notre Dame to the relegation.
Relegation.
You'll hear Ohio State, Michigan fans, USC fans when it comes to Notre Dame. Relegation.
Right. No, it is going to be like the gulag of like college football.
The gulag.
You guys got to go to the gulag.
Send Michigan State. Be like, hey man, what's up?
Oh my God, Michigan. Little bro them, poor little bro them. They could be in the gulag right now. Northwestern perpetually in the gulag. Northwestern lives in the gulag.
They're a you know what? They're in the gulag for non-football members.
Exactly, man. That's crazy. Relegation.
Oh man.
What do you think about that though? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't know. I kind of don't like it because we see teams all the time come out of nowhere every year in college football, and that's kind of what makes it great. I mean, TCU was a 3-9 team the year before they went to the Natty. So you're going to relegate that TCU team, and then we don't get to see Max Duggan and that TCU team in the national title. I mean, do you give it like you have to be bad over a period of time so we can just like get rid of Rutgers?
It's not for one.
Like, just
first of all,
rid of
in my videos outside of the lives, because I do talk about the other state and lives a lot, but that's because you guys show up, and then I gotta respond to you. But in my videos, I don't really talk a lot about the other state. If it's somebody that we're both recruiting, I'll mention you. But yeah, nah. Go ahead. You're muted.
How do people in the comments feel about relegation?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on relegation?
I mean, can we if we just do relegation, if I'm spitting names off the top of my head, Northwestern, Stanford, Cal, Vandy? You could put Vandy in there.
Right. Shout out to my guy Darbo.
Who else would you put in there?
You said Northwestern. I put Rutgers in the gulag.
Rutgers. Put Rutgers in there. Michigan State, Lil Bro-Nem.
Michigan's Lil Bro-Nem is in the gulag. For sure.
There's levels to it though. They're in like the bottom floor of the gulag. They're sitting there chilling with Indiana.
Hey,
actually, crying Ryan.
I've never said that, by the way. I did. I might have cut a video though.
Dude, I had not Michigan. I had Ohio State fans after the game because my name was on my Twitter. Use that against me. So,
wait, they use your name?
Yeah, because my name's Ryan, so they used crying Ryan because people use that against Ryan Day, so they used it for my.
Oh, I see.
My post about it. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
I see.
My coach doesn't. Yeah, my coach doesn't worry about 86-year-olds.
Crying Ryan, third base day. Jesus. I think his affliction. By the way, I diagnosed him with what.
You know what's crazy? He thinks his team's tough because he can beat up an 86-year-old man. That's Ryan Day's identification.
Look, to be fair, because I had a problem with what Lou said, not with what he said, because he was telling the truth. However, I have a problem with people then saying, "Oh, well, Lou's 86 years old." Yeah, Lou knew he was 86 years old when he said that.
Yeah, dude can barely walk though, Phil.
Don't say things and hide your hands.
No, Phil, he can barely walk, my guy. Like when we were there,
that's Lou's fault.
How is that his fault?
No, I'm not saying it's not. It's obviously he's old, and we understand.
Yeah, you might want to explain that, Phil.
What I'm saying is, it's his fault for writing tickets. You have to, if you know you can't walk and you can't, properly defend yourself, even verbally, don't say things.
Well, dude, they only brought him on for like a skit for Pat McAfee. Like,
right.
What do you expect? Like, it's like when Ohio State, okay. So when Notre Dame fans you don't see us all big. Like, okay, me and Josh and all the guys at Week Zero Production were talking about this on the way home. Ohio State fans are the most emotional fans in college football. They get butthurt and offended.
I agree with that.
By not saying the Ohio State.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like they get in their feels over the smallest shit.
Werther's original. He got to watch his reruns of Bonanza. Try to locate his Rudy VHS tape. Finish his prune juice.
Dude, I mean, seriously though, like I'm sure as a Michigan fan, you hear it all the time. Like I told you, Ohio State fans, Buckeye Garrison retweeted the Pat McAfee show when we were chanting "Fuck Ohio," which, for people that don't know, me and the Week Zero podcast boys had a hand in starting. So Ohio State fans were retweeting that, saying stuff like, "Oh, like this is such a bad look," I'm like, shut up. Like, if game day was at Ohio State, you don't think your fans would be fucking D? Like, you guys would be doing the same fucking thing. Get the fuck out of here. Like, they are like children. You got to wear kid gloves when you talk to an Ohio State fan.
Them Werthers. Yo, they got like chewy Werthers now too. Those are actually pretty decent. Get him some chewy Werthers, so he ain't gotta worry about it.
They got search parties out looking for Uncle Lou.
Damn it, man.
Oh, man.
Anyway, man, shout out to everybody who came through. I don't know if I put it, I don't think I posted it yet, but The channel has reached over 700,000 views, so I got to thank everybody for that.
Yo, well, hold on. We
Without
got
you guys, it wouldn't be possible.
Dallas fans
So
said Ohio State's still talking about a missed field goal.
They are, yeah. They still want the targeting on Marvin Harrison. Like they live in the past so much.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Yo, is Marvin Harrison Jr. still getting fake promotion for being the best player in college football? Let's stop the cap.
Is he not? Y'all don't think he the best?
No, what I think is he's the best receiver in college football, and I think Ben Morrison is the best corner in college football, and I think both of them are going to be first-round picks.
Ben Morrison can't.
I gave you the stats. I gave you the stats.
Job. That's one stat, bro. You know there's other stats. PFF has other stats that show Will Johnson ahead of Ben Morrison
right now, even though Will Johnson hasn't played.
No. That's this year. Of course he's going to be ahead right now. Will Johnson doesn't have stats to mention.
The minute Will Johnson gives up a touchdown, not better than Ben Morrison.
When have you seen Will Johnson give up a touchdown?
I don't know. Did he give up a touchdown last year?
He didn't give up touchdowns.
So wait, what was that? What did he hold up Marvin Harrison to last year?
2 catches.
2 catches. Okay.
Yeah.
So
2 catches, like 12 yards. Better than Ben Morrison.
When Ben Morrison was on him, Marvin Harrison got targeted like freaking 12 times, and he allowed like 4
That's not
or 5
the truth.
catches.
He got targeted like 6 times.
What do you mean 6 times?
It was like 6 or 7 times he was targeted with Ben Morrison on him. He had 2 or 3 catches.
Hold on.
By the way, some of those targets were after he sprained his ankle or whatever that was, the roll up.
What? Oh, don't bring that up. Don't do that.
Why can't we bring it? Did it not happen?
It did not happen.
Oh my God, man.
It doesn't matter.
They showed it in slow motion, bro.
He was good. He was healthy enough to come out and play.
Yeah, because he understood the attention that him being on the field would garner.
Okay, so I got the stats for you. Morrison versus Ohio State.
Right.
8 targets, 3 completions for 27 yards, 0 tutties, and 2 pass breakups.
Excellent.
On Harrison, 5 targets, 2 completions, 26 yards, 2 pass breakups. Against Ibuka, 1 target, 0 completions. Against Julian Fleming, 1 target, 1 completion for a yard. How is that not really effing good? That is really
nobody
good.
said it wasn't though. You act like I'm saying that Ben Morrison's a bum. I'm not saying that.
Why can't both statements be true? But why can't Ben Morrison and Will Johnson both be surefire first-round picks in 2025?
Well, they are. One of them just happens to be better than the other.
Okay, stop.
That's it.
No, that is why Emeka 8, because we didn't have Ben Morrison on him. We had him on Marvin Harrison.
Well, if you had him on Ibuka, then Marvin Harrison would have.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what does that statement mean? Like, Ben Morrison's trash because he can't guard 2 receivers at once?
Exactly. Will Johnson can do that.
Okay, shut. Will Johnson has mystic powers, man.
Right.
We got 2 number. What does he wear? Number 2. He wears number 2, right? We got 2 number 2s on the field.
By the way, like Ben Morrison's number is stupid. Why is he number 20? That's stupid.
Because he didn't want to copy Will Johnson.
Exactly. Ben Morrison has a stupid number. But man, I feel like your team is a poverty team now. You lost the game. It's not the same. It's just not giving the same feel anymore. We are an undefeated. We just beat a 3-0 team, by the way. A 3-0 juggernaut came to the big
powerhouse that is.
We
Rutgers.
got them out the way. Absolutely, we got them out the way. 3-0 juggernaut.
Rutgers would beat Notre Dame.
Stomp them into the ground. Stomp. Completely disembowel Notre Dame. Rutgers would. but we got rid of them, dispatched them. We play, obviously Nebraska has a couple losses, couple bad losses. They lost to Colorado. By the way, Colorado plays USC this weekend. What
Dude,
happens?
real quick, I gotta pull this up because I said this, and I said I was out of pocket for saying this.
Yeah, you are out of pocket.
We lost the game, right?
Yeah.
But Phil, I got called out of pocket on this show for saying that Ben Morrison would hold Marvin Harrison under 50 yards and no touchdowns. So I feel like I should get some credit for that. I know we lost, but what was I not right when I said that on this show multiple times?
Well, he did that. He did. He held them under 50 yards.
And what else did I say he would do?
Out of the end zone.
What else did I say he would do?
I don't know.
Put him in his pocket. To put him in his pocket. He did it to him.
Oh my God.
He did it to him. He said, "I'll put him in my pocket."
By the way, that's not what that is, by the way.
What is it?
It's strapped like a seatbelt.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he was on him like a seatbelt?
He's just saying he's strapped up.
That's not what I thought that was, huh?
Come on, man. The culture, bro. And this is why you don't like Dion. This is why you don't like Dion, because you don't get the cultural references.
I thought it's because, like, when I played, we used to put people in our back pocket, like as a DB.
Yeah.
So like that's where I thought that came from.
It's a different era now. Purdue's quarterback was all right,
dude. I can tell you right now, dude. I already feel old. Like kids don't say lit anymore. Like that was my thing when I was in high school.
Marvin clear out. Yeah, he wasn't even trying to get the ball. He ran clear out.
Okay. That's like Ohio State fans. That's like Ohio State fans bringing up JSN's injury last year against us.
Is Ohio State playing Maryland this week, Doctor?
I haven't actually looked.
Got him a lower form of drugs to wean him off them hard drugs. Yeah,
Let's see. So we got
Marvin was looking for daddy.
Whoa. Ohio State's a bye week.
A bye week, yeah. That sounds like them take a bye week at the moment they play somebody real.
They gotta rest up, Phil.
Yeah.
Who do they play next week? I gotta see this now. I gotta see who they play next week. They play Maryland. They gotta rest up for Maryland.
Yeah. Of course. Of course they gotta rest up for Maryland. Maryland is a decent team. It might be a loss for the Buckeyes.
It's in the horseshoe, so that game will be tough.
Salty dog. Listen, I'm gonna go. I have no reason to be salty. You
guys are 2-0.
Owns the other state right now. Jim Harbaugh is living rent free in Ryan Day's head right now. Ryan Day is thinking about Jim Harbaugh as he rounds third base. He's about to get thrown out because he's gonna get caught in the.
By the way, I wanted to mention this. There are Michigan State fans that want Marcus Freeman to be their head coach now, and they think that
I saw that
they can pull Marcus Freeman away from Notre Dame. Let's be real here. If Michigan State is Michigan's little bro-nam, they're Notre Dame's little bro-nam, because Michigan State has not beaten us in since 2009, 2010. So
it's been that long.
It's been that long. It's been a minute. So yeah, Marcus Freeman's not going to a poverty program like Michigan State. I'm sorry.
A poverty program. You guys are on your way, man. You just if you lose to Duke, you're a poverty program.
Dude, if we lose to Duke, I'm quitting the Week 0 podcast. I'm gonna just put my letter of resignation in. Like, it's over. Hey, I'd rather lose to Marshall again than lose to Duke.
That's more recent than Notre Dame has beaten OSU.
You know, who was that quarterback? But Connor Cook was their quarterback then. They haven't beaten us since they planted the flag in our field. So
I think I think Marcus Freeman might consider that job.
Yeah, for sure.
More prestigious look there.
Use that 95 mil that they used on Mel Tucker.
Hey, for 95 mil, I'd be out of there. All he needs to do is, stay away from
catcalling.
Exactly. Stay away from catcalling. Don't do anything over the phone.
Michigan State is poverty.
Ohio State retired Lloyd.
Dude, I love how we're talking about.
Jim is next.
I love how we're talking about Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan, and they got their big game against mighty Nebraska this weekend, and we're still putting down Lil Bro Nem. Like, we can't go one show without talking about Lil Bro Nem.
Hey, they brought this on themselves. Mel Tugger rented a tugboat. Jimmy picks his whoa. Nasty. Come on, man.
Hashtag get Phil his money.
Yeah.
We know what it is.
Exactly. If you know, you know. Bleacher Report. Where's my money? Hold on.
I'm upset.
Where is my money? All right.
Oh, man.
There we go. Anyway, man, I got to get out of here. It's been a pleasure. Shout out to everybody who joined in the comments. Goj, my guy, Antoine, for sure, Mello, Moose, Darbo joined in, Dallas Van Garrison, all you guys. Shout out to you guys. Until next time, stay angry, my friends.